I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again to our construction project here in Brooklyn, down under the Manhattan Bridge, what they call DUMBO. We're spending lots of time on the roof today. We're going to show you how you put up an iron picket railing, building a head house, glazing it, putting in a fantastic door. Also, Bellawood pre-finished flooring, a gorgeous ash floor that we're putting down in our apartment at the top. Stick around. It's good to have you home again. We're up on the roof, and Chris Vila is with me now. Chris has been kind of project managing on this one. How many different trades are working up here, Christopher, on this roof deck construction?
Well, the roof is sort of the center of all the activity here, right now especially. I mean, we've got guys putting up the head house, which is going to give the access to this great private roof deck from the top
So
apartment.
this whole area back here will be a wooden deck?
This is all eventually going to get decked over with Ipe wood.
Yeah.
Right, and before we do that, though, we've got to finish the mechanical room. We've got to put this steel beam there for all the air conditioning units.
The area that's yellow will actually be clad with metal or something?
Clad with metal, exactly, in keeping with the whole neighborhood and the sort of industrial vibe. But since I've got so many people up here, we want to get the railing up just in terms of safety.
Yeah,
just
getting the iron railing is a good idea. Let's talk to our welder before he starts welding. How you doing?
How you doing?
This is
Jimmy Kankas.
Jimmy Kankas. Yeah. Jimmy, where are you from?
I'm from Albania.
Ah, congratulations. We have a very international crowd here in Brooklyn. Yeah. And so how long have you been in the States?
10 years.
That's fabulous. And you got your own welding business?
Yeah, with my brothers.
Yeah,
with your brothers.
So these railings, this is pretty simple picket stuff.
Square, flat in the top, 3 feet 6 high.
3'6" is the requirement?
Yes.
Okay. And then you fabricate these in your shop?
In the shop, and they come installed. I got the crew coming installer here.
Fabulous. And the preparation involved these sleeves down here that you just let it into, right?
Yes.
And so now what do you do?
We're gonna weld all around, and it's gonna be nice and secure.
All right, we'll put our sunglasses on. Go ahead. So, Chris, what kind of welding is this?
This is arc weld. What happens here is that an electrical charge goes through the rod, which is which is made up of metal fibers, and basically an electrical charge goes through the end of the rod, makes contact with the iron that you're welding it to, which is called an arc. And this creates this, a superheated situation, which basically bonds the metal together.
Right.
It's very important to wear the proper safety gear. Generally, you wear a leather apron.
Jimmy's got a leather jacket on in this hot muggy day.
Yeah, exactly. It just snaps around the front and the arms. You should be wearing safety gloves, usually also made out of leather, and your welder's mask.
All right, so one by one, he'll be finishing all of these, and
he's working his way to the back right now.
Make sure that they're all plumb. Now, Chris, the actual sleeves that hold the structure, this is part of the roofing trades delivery.
Aluminum fabrication.
Yeah, it's just a flashing collar that goes there. But then there's a space here. What do they fill that with?
It's a sort of hydraulic grout. It's not a cement exactly.
Okay.
But basically the iron workers deliver these cutouts here, which they can then come in and after they're set, fit their railing right into and weld.
So there's really 3 trades involved. There's a roofer, there's the iron worker, and then there's a masonry guys.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, they've got parapet coming under control here. And this is basically the top of a party wall between our building and the neighboring building. And it's been rebuilt. We can see the top of all this masonry, and you don't want the weather to get into that and crack it up with a freeze and thaw. So we cap it with, is it a bluestone?
Yeah, that's a bluestone.
That's nice.
And they're in the middle of finishing that up.
Okay. Now, what is the plan for the rest of this roof space? It is all going to be
This is actually going to be one enormous deck. Right, so you're going to come in through the head house and basically walk out. This is going to be in 3 different stages.
3 levels?
Exactly, 3 levels. It's all being fabricated with Ipe wood, which is an eco-friendly wood from Brazil.
Yeah. And so, let's talk about the head house a bit. They're just finishing that up.
Finishing up, putting the last few glass panels. We've got Alan Chi here from Finest Window. Now, this is a frosted thermal glass. And they're just finishing putting these last panels in now.
Now, the head house is the staircase that leads from the top floor apartment.
Right, from the penthouse apartment, you can go straight out and get access to your private deck.
Right.
The frosting gives you some privacy as well from the neighboring buildings.
Yeah, this is greater New York, and you do have lots of tall buildings surrounding you, so somehow or another you want to maintain a little bit of privacy.
Exactly.
Is it going to fit, Alan?
Yes. Just a block here.
There it is.
And the blocks?
Now, Alan, let us interrupt you for a minute. This is a manufactured piece of glass that's specifically custom-made for these
It's custom made
openings.
for this opening.
Right. And once you've inserted it into the aluminum frame, how do you secure it there?
We're gonna have the snapping beer here, and after that we're gonna have double piece of the gasket that is over there.
So you put in a rubber gasket
Rubber gasket for the waterproofing.
and the aluminum
After
extrusion.
that, and then we're gonna put silicone at the end, so make sure no water dripping in.
Exactly. Where are you from?
Me from China, Hong Kong, China.
From Hong Kong, China. Wonderful.
And the roof, Alan, is just going to be the tar paper that's up there.
No, I think there's a
actually,
stainless flashing that goes there.
flashing?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. And there again, we're trying to bring all these trades to do all this work in the space of just a couple of
Overcrowded
days.
situation.
Right. Well, we'll watch you.
Okay. And give me the blocks first. Another one?
So these are just shims so that the glass doesn't float directly on top of the aluminum.
Right.
Any idea what the cost of this little construction looks like?
It's around $10,000.
Yeah.
The snapping beer. Gasket.
Precise fit. And that fits into place tightly.
That's
and-
why we're gonna have both sides. There's inside one side too.
I see. So there's no actual caulking out of a
No.
tube used in this.
No way.
It's a rubber
No.
gasket.
And then you just put a little half cut in the corner
Yep.
to make the 45, the
Make-
90-degree turn.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice tight fit. We'll also want to look at how the door gets installed. So even though this door looks like it's, practically from a jewelry store, you still have to do some prep work. And here you're drilling and countersinking.
Yes.
So we're going to have the screws be flush with
We
the
flush it with the frame.
frame. Good. Are you ready to put it in?
You ready?
Okay. Now, Chris, any idea what kind of a door this is?
Yeah, this door is actually HC60, which means it's heavy construction
Yeah,
rated.
yeah.
So you're going to find these on Manhattan high-rises, industrial buildings around the city. Basically, it's tested so it can take, a significant amount of wind and pressure and, movement.
And it's not going to let the weather in.
Exactly.
Wow, look at that. Any idea what it cost?
This actually costs around $3,000. So not cheap.
Boy, that's the way to lift it, huh?
Right, suction cups, just pop it into place.
Oh, it is beautiful. It looks like a vault door.
Okay, it's good. It's good. Get the shim. Too much? I got the door, don't worry. Give me the level. You got it, right? Yeah. and then we have to lift it up.
Although the installation of this door looks easy, it'll actually take Alan and his helper several hours to finish. So we'll check back later to see how it turns out. It's the Big Apple, and all the finishes are coming together so quickly, so fast in this project that it's mind-blowing. Let's say hello to Steve Shelowitz, who's our flooring contractor.
How are you, Bob?
That's Williamsburg, Parquet.
That's right, Williamsburg, Brooklyn.
Good. So let's talk about the flooring that we're putting down here,
Yes.
which is a Bellawood product. It's a pre-finished ash, an American ash, and this is one of the hardest woods you can get, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I love the look of it because it's such a nice light floor finish. And especially in the Northeast where you start getting dark days in November, it's nice to have a reflective white finish like this.
Absolutely. It's less grainy than your normal oak.
You've worked with it before, right?
Absolutely.
And the stability of ash is one of the main features that I really like about it. Once you've put it down, it doesn't move much.
It doesn't move. It's nailed to the subfloor. It's going nowhere.
Tell us a little bit about the installation. What have you done first?
Well, the first, obviously, if you sweep up, you lay down a red rosin paper.
And this is this dark pink or red paper. This is what's been used for centuries, probably. I mean,
Absolutely.
For many decades as a product that gets put under. What is the role of it?
The purpose is just to keep wood off wood and to keep any dust from traveling through any grooves in the floor.
Why is it important to keep wood off wood?
Squeaks. To eliminate any squeaks between the two.
Exactly. And the subfloor here is a brand new subfloor. It's plywood.
It's 3/4 inch plywood.
So we've got a nice solid base to put it down.
Absolutely.
And then in terms of laying it out when it comes out of the box.
It gets laid out in a random length, in a random design. Joints should be about 6 to 8 inches apart. And basically that's it. And,
Here's a good example of keeping your joints at least, this is more like 10 or 12 inches apart. And they come packaged so that you have some shorts and some
It
lengths.
comes packaged with short pieces from 1.25 long up to 7 feet long.
Right, so one of the things that we've done here is to pre-select some of the lengths and make sure that we show them off in areas of the room which are more visible.
Absolutely.
And here you see it right here. You got a length here, you got a bigger length here, and then use some of the shorts in areas that are less visible, especially in the kitchen area, where we're going to place an island, and then of course we'll have our cabinets around the corner there.
Closets and other spaces. Absolutely.
And I feel like we're slowing down the production here. Can we let them go?
Absolutely. Go ahead, fellas. As you can see, they're nailing every 10 to 12 inches.
And they don't go from one side to the other. They just kind of go all the way to a corner and then go to the next piece and continue.
Absolutely.
Boy, they make quick work of it. Now, Steve, what kind of nails are these that they're using?
These are staples produced with special teeth that as they go through the wood and they grip into the plywood,
Yeah.
it pulls the floor tight to the subfloor.
So it looks like an old cut nail, but it's basically manufactured.
Yeah, absolutely. They're manufactured with the adhesive to hold it in a rack, and they get produced through the gun one at a time, as you can see.
All right, now this is the final piece, and what's been done here in order to get a perfect fit is that they've ripped some of it and splined it onto this. And so you can't face nail this, right,
No.
Steve? That's why we're putting down a bead of glue and going all around with it. And given that it's at the very edge, you don't really have to worry much about any squeaking there, do you?
No, absolutely not. The glue should make a nice tight bond.
Is it just plain carpenter glue?
Plain carpenter's glue, that's right.
Okay. Now, let's talk a minute about the finish on this Bellawood, because I know that you can buy it with a satin or a glossier finish, or you can get it without a finish on it already.
Absolutely so. This finish has 8 coats of an aluminum oxide, which is a water-based type of material that is furnished at the factory.
Yeah.
It's tested with a test that's the Tabor test, where they take a disc with a piece of sandpaper adhered to that, and a 500-gram weight on top of that.
On top of that.
And the disc is making revolutions on top of the finish, and depending on how many revolutions it takes to cut through the finish, that's how they determine the hardness of the finish.
Yeah.
Each revolution is a tabor.
Yeah.
This material is rated at about 2,400 tabors.
That's the
which
highest.
is 2,400 revolutions, which you don't get much better than that.
It doesn't. That's the bellow wood, and that's the final piece. Thanks, Steve. One of the big challenges here is getting equipment into the building and up on the roof, especially when you're looking at a 350-pound boiler. It's hard for 2 or 3 or 4 guys to even contemplate carrying up here. So we managed to bring a heavy-duty crane onto the job site early in the morning before traffic became an issue, and they swung it up into place with no trouble at all. The last thing we're going to look at up on the roof is the HVAC and the boiler. Isaac Chizbani, an Israeli, is our contractor for HVAC.
Hello, Bob.
And New York City code makes you mount all these units up on a big steel I-beam, huh?
Correct.
Why is that?
The reason is that there were a couple of accidents where, especially with a wooden frame building, where it goes on fire, the building collapses and it falls on the firemen. So they made it built into the code to have steel.
So that if there is a collapse in a fire, you're not endangering the firefighters.
Correct.
Okay. What is this?
This is a condensing unit, 3.5 ton, 12 SEER.
So there's 3 of them, one for each of the 3 floor-through apartments that we've got in here.
Correct, one for each tenant.
But we've also got a first floor and a basement area. What are you doing to air condition those?
Well, the landlord is not really sure who's going to be occupying the space and what kind of load they're going to have, and he really doesn't want to pay for it.
Until he knows who the tenant's going to be. Now, are these high-efficiency units, Energy Star?
Yes, 12 SEER. It starts with 10 SEER to up to 14 SEER. And this was somewhere in the middle, which is
terrific. So
basically good.
We're in good shape. Thanks. I'll let you get back to that. Let's go in here a minute and say hi to John Sodano, who's our plumbing contractor. Hey, John.
How you doing?
Nice work. So here we are on the roof, and we got the boiler up here. Why didn't you put it in the basement?
For two reasons, because number one, we got no space, and number two, for not under the chimney all the way up.
So you don't have to put up a chimney.
We don't got to put just the one piece of chimney.
And there's no room down in the basement for it because it's going to be part of the rented apartment.
Correct.
What kind of a boiler is it?
It's a slant fin.
Slant fin?
Yes.
I got you. What's the BTU?
300,000
300,000
BTUs.
Yeah. And this is a high efficiency boiler, right?
That's correct.
Right.
Yes.
Does it also provide the domestic hot water needs?
It provides, domestic hot water, too. And
that's all there is?
Yes.
So this is domestic hot water?
Domestic hot water.
For 3 apartments?
For 3 apartments, correct.
How does it work?
Well, it works like you got a coil inside, the hot water from the boiler, you go through the coil, and the domestic water, it's run, like, regular coil.
So you got a rapid recovery.
That's it.
Good.
We got, recovery, instantaneous.
All right, John, I'll let you get back to work.
No
Let's
problem.
take a look over here. The last thing I want to show you is Alan's handiwork, our completed head house door, which is a work of art. But we are running out of time. Come home again next week. We're going to be installing a beautiful white marble tile floor in one of the bathrooms and cherry wood kitchen cabinets. So then, I'm Bob Vila. It's good to have you home again. Visit BobVila.com for everything you need to get the job done right. You'll find Home Again highlights, interactive tools for planning your next project, and helpful how-to articles for every room in your home. BobVila.com, the ultimate home site.